Just imagine, every morning you wake up to a world covered in ice and cold. The ground beneath you is frozen solid, the air bites at your skin, and every breath is a battle against the freezing wind. This is not a nightmare, it was reality for our ancestors during the Ice Age. To survive, they had to rely on instinct, ingenuity, and the fragile bonds of community. This is the story of how humans endured one of the harshest environments Earth has ever known, and how, against all odds, we managed to survive. The Ice Age was not just a single frozen moment in history, it stretched across millennia. Periods of intense cold blanketed much of the Earth in glaciers that reached hundreds of meters thick. Vast ice sheets consumed continents. Animals migrated, evolved, or went extinct in the face of relentless cold. And into this unforgiving world stepped early humans, fragile creatures of flesh and bone. With no claws, no thick fur, and no natural armor, we were not built for the Ice Age. Yet somehow, we became masters of survival. Picture a small band of humans huddled around a fire. Flames flicker, casting light on fur-clad figures crouched close together. Their breath rises like smoke in the frigid night. Beyond the fire's circle, darkness stretches into endless snow. Predators lurk, saber-toothed cats, cave lions, dire wolves. Each night, the fire you lit could either protect you or betray your position to creatures hungrier and stronger than you. This was the balance of life and death. The first key to survival was fire. Our ancestors learned not only how to preserve fire but also how to create it. Sparks struck from flint, embers carefully carried, dried moss coaxed into flame. Fire became more than warmth, it was a shield, a tool, a gathering point, and a symbol of hope. But fire alone was not enough. Shelter was vital. Imagine scraping ice from a rock overhang, stacking bones and hides into crude walls, building snow shelters to insulate from the wind. Some groups used mammoth bones, tusks, and hides to create dwellings, structures that stood against storms that would flatten anything else. These shelters were cold and primitive by our standards, but they could mean the difference between life and death. Food was the greatest challenge. During the Ice Age, vast herds of animals roamed, mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses, giant bison, and reindeer. To hunt them required courage, cooperation, and deadly tools. Spears tipped with stone, atlatls to hurl them farther, traps dug into the earth. Hunting was not simply sport, it was survival. Every part of the animal was used, meat for food, hides for clothing, bones for tools, sinew for thread, fat for fuel. To waste anything was unthinkable. Still, hunger was a constant companion. Crops could not be grown in frozen soil. Berries, roots, and edible plants were scarce. People scavenged, experimented, and learned which plants healed, which poisoned, which could be eaten raw and which needed fire to transform them into nourishment. Survival demanded both memory and courage, try, to fail, to remember, and to teach. But survival was not just about physical needs, it was about the mind. Imagine endless cold, days without sun, storms that lasted weeks. Despair could be as deadly as hunger. That is why humans told stories, painted caves, and sang around fires. In the flicker of torchlight, animals danced across stone walls, bison, mammoths, horses. These were not decorations. They were rituals, lessons, memories passed down. Art was survival of the spirit. And so, humans adapted. We made clothing not of rags but of carefully stitched furs. We learned to tan hides, to make waterproof boots, to insulate with layers. Tools became more complex, stone blades, bone needles, endler scrapers. Communities grew larger, bands came together to share hunts, trade resources, exchange knowledge. Cooperation was perhaps our greatest weapon in the Ice Age. Alone, a human was prey. Together, humans became predators. Consider the dangers, not just the cold and hunger, but predators that ruled the land. Saber-toothed cats with teeth like daggers, cave bears larger than any modern grizzly, packs of wolves that could track for days. To face them, humans had to fight with strategy, weapons, and sheer willpower. Yet many times, humans were hunted as much as hunters. To sleep meant vulnerability. That is why tribes posted guards, why fires were kept burning through the night, why the bonds of trust were so strong. And yet, despite the hardships, humanity did not just survive, we thrived. Populations grew, spread across continents, innovated. Humans walked from Africa into Europe, into Asia, across frozen land bridges into the Americas. We adapted to tundra, to steppe, to icy forests. Every migration was a gamble, every step into the unknown a risk of death. Yet driven by hunger, curiosity, and hope, we kept moving. What did it mean to be human in the Ice Age? It meant endurance. It meant using creativity against nature's cruelty. It meant forming bonds so strong that survival of the group became survival of the self. It meant seeing possibility where others saw only death. The end of the Ice Age did not come suddenly. Over thousands of years, ice sheets melted, seas rose, climates shifted. But humanity endured long enough to see the thaw. Out of the frozen world came agriculture, settlements, civilization. The skills we forged in the Ice Age, cooperation, innovation, resilience, carried us into the future. So next time you feel the cold, imagine waking up every day to a frozen earth. Imagine every meal as a struggle, every night as a test, every dawn as a victory. That was life in the Ice Age. And yet, from those struggles, we inherited the strength that defines us even today. We are here because they survived. Subscribe to Atlas and Mysteries, and join us as we uncover the hidden struggles, forgotten worlds, and impossible journeys that shaped humanity.